Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It is January 16, 2023. Mike DiMuccio here, Royal Diamond, and this is Aligning with Success. Welcome. I know a bunch of people will be joining us. We're going, but I wanted to get started because I got a lot of notes that I want to go through, and we only have an hour. So hopefully you're all up to speed and plugged into our new incentives program, the nomenclature, the vocabulary that we're using, starting to familiarize yourself with the back office tools, how to employ them with respect to our powerhouse program, our waterfall purchases and whatnot. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to cover some notes. I was on a couple of calls from last week with leaders in the network marketing industry, network marketing profession, Randy Gage being one of them. He's been an industry leader, pioneer, and trainer, probably one of the most prolific in the profession. So I took some notes. Nothing startling, nothing really new, but was just interesting to see, okay, well, what's he going to put his attention to and focus on, given that 2023 is a focus year for our profession to focus on growth and expansion. And he did a generic training with one of his right hands. So I just wanted to cover some of the stuff he talks about. He's got 4 pillars. I guess they're 4 pillars, yeah. That he went through, and I just took notes, so I'm just going to read my notes and whatever comes up. First pillar was lock down your duplication system. Okay, so how important is duplication to growing your business and experiencing the benefits of leverage growth? It's everything. So I just want to make a point that I've made many times before. It's not what you do, it's what you duplicate. That's what's going to turn your direct sales business into a network marketing enterprise. One of the notes I took, and I'm just going to make this point here, was with Richard Brooke. He made a point. You all know this concept of doubling the penny doubling principle. If I gave you a penny and promised to double it every day for the next 30 days, so one day would be a penny, next day would be 2 pennies, next day would be 4 pennies, next day would be 8 pennies, etc. On day number 30, compounding every day, you would have over $5.2 million on day number 30. So what was really, it's an incredible concept that you can double a penny and in 30 days time, get over $5 million on the 30th day. But what happens if you compound it every other day? Small change. So instead of compounding it every day, we're just going to compound it every other day. Now, think about the metaphor that I'm talking about here. Your intention on your business, your activity level on your business, whatever you determine as your daily method of operation. What am I doing on a daily basis? If I did it every other day instead of every day, what would be the net effect of compound? The most important thing that we got going for us in our whole network marketing concept is the idea that we can compound time. We can compound our activities, our events. And that compounding effect takes a penny into $5 million in 30 days. That concept is what makes it possible for us to go beyond the linear income, beyond the trading time for money income. But if we're not compounding something, if we're not duplicating and compounding that, then we're not going to ever experience anything other than a linear income. Our income is going to be in proportion to our effort. And that's not what the benefits of network marketing are. We want to get beyond that. So we need to install certain processes, certain pillars that ensure the ability of us to compound. So what happens if I compound every other day? If I just didn't take my business quite as seriously, if I didn't quite do those activities every day, the answer is you'd have $183.60. That's a pretty big difference from $5.2 million, don't you think? So it's really important that we compound daily. and not every other day or randomly. The idea of doing network marketing or business randomly, whenever it interests you, whenever it's convenient. If we approach our business that way, we're never going to experience that wonderful thing called compounding and exponential growth. So that's getting back to the pillars. These are pillars, meaning these are not negotiables. So one thing is lock down your duplication system. What exactly am I duplicating? Because if I don't know what it is, I can't teach it. If I can't teach it, I can't replicate it. If I can't replicate it, I'm not compounding. So it's important that we lock down our duplication system. So for instance, one of the first points was automate your getting started. What's your getting started procedure? Do you have a getting started procedure? Well, right now, Nikken is really stepping it up, helping us get a getting started procedure for a new consultant locked down. The whole powerhouse concept, that whole back door to starting your wellness business. That is a systematic approach to getting somebody started. So that's really important that you follow through on that, and that becomes what we teach, what you teach. One of the things that he talks about next is a standardized presentation. So basic outline would be, what's your company's story, the storyline. For instance, what was the passion of the founder that founded Nikken, the product story. These are basics, but a standard presentation. Now, I don't know if you're using a presentation or you're still scrambling for one, but it's important it gets locked down. It doesn't have to be the one that I use. It doesn't have to be the one that somebody else uses. Use one and make that the one that you teach and duplicate. Now, we do have some that we've been using from the past. They're always a work in process, but get some type of a presentation or presentation materials locked down. New distributor orientation. In other words, like a workbook or a video. Now, there's some stuff that Nikken's been working on, but it's not published. So until that happens, what do you got? I've shared with you guys my system for decades. It hasn't really changed much. My Nikken business, sort of a simple tool. This is a PDF that we can get into your hands right away. Whatever it is that you've got, get it. Lock it down. Something that you can follow, something that you can teach. Workbook, video. There's no reason why you can't create your own, by the way. An event structure. So essentially an event structure is, what is the sequence of events that you see that will bring somebody into the Nikken family, either as a consumer or a consultant, and then further grow their understanding and experience? What is the event sequence, or what we often refer to in Nikken as the rhythm of the business? Do you have a rhythm of the business? Have you locked it down? What's the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual? You should have those dates. And now Nikken's published the event calendar for Nikken. You know what Nikken's calendar is. Now, on top of that, overlay your calendar and your team calendar. Now, you might not have a team yet. What's it going to be? So pencil it in. What's the team calendar going to be? For instance, this call is on my calendar. This Monday night call is a call that you can rely on because it's not something I do ad hoc. It's something I'm committed to doing with regularity on a weekly basis. So what's your calendar, your event structure? Now, essentially the event structure is a ladder of escalation. That's what he refers to it as. I really like that terminology. Each event leads to the next, but each event escalates a person's understanding, their vision, the depth of their vision, as you can imagine. So let's say we have an online meeting. That's one level of understanding. And then maybe the next event might be a live event I bring somebody to, and they have, a small group of people, 20, 30 people in a room, like they do often in Quebec. And excuse me, I have Steve. Woo, excuse me. All right, so that live event that has a dynamic that has live testimonials, people shaking hands, saying hello, whatever. There's a dynamic there that creates a social event, that creates social proof. That's the next level of escalation. And each time you escalate, it creates a better comprehension of Nikan. A person can relate more to it, and decisions they make are in line with that. And then, for instance, maybe the next level meeting might, well, I already said the hotel meeting. Maybe there was one before that. Maybe it was an in-home. Maybe it's a one-on-one at a coffee shop, followed by an in-home that week, followed by a hotel event sometime in the month, followed by the Nikan online event for the calendar of that month, or the quarterly, followed by maybe the annual event. So each of these events escalate a person's involvement, enrollment, self-enrollment in Nikan. What's your ladder of escalation? What's your event structure? So if we think about a funnel, the initial contact to get somebody looking at Nikan is the pre-qualification stage. Let's just call it, this is where we pre-qualify somebody for what's their interest. There was something that I got, I'm going to sort of jump ahead. I got a note, I went through Richard Brooks' curriculum, and there was one thing that he really emphasized. There was only a page and a half of notes on Richard, but it's important because I'm going to bring it up right here, right now. He gave an idea. Now, I often talk about the initial call to reach out to somebody who's on your contact list. And while that, in my opinion, is and will continue to be the most effective way of reaching out and calling somebody, the rate at which you contact people, especially now, those of you who've been in the business a while, the rate at which you're able to duplicate people contacting people makes all the difference in the world as to whether or not you can create momentum and duplication. Now, let me take you back to 1992. What we had was a video. In fact, we had two. We had one video, was the Nikan video called Humans Being More. The second video we had was a video by Dr. Ted Zablotsky, who did a bunch of stuff about the blood vascular dilation, the blood in the magnets, and whatever. That was like an hour-long video. Not as much interest in that, not as many people watch that, but the short Nikan video was 7-8 minutes long. Back in the day when we can get people to watch videos. But I'll tell you the key to my success in January of 1992. A group of us decided that we were going to duplicate those videos at $1 a piece. We found a duplicator who was able to bootleg those videos for $1 a piece, and I sold them in boxes, a case of 100. So if you joined today, Nikan, one of the first things you would do is you'd buy 100 videos from me for $100. And now you have your pre-qualifying video. You've got the thing that you can get to somebody. And if you can get that somebody to watch that thing, and that sparks an interest, the next thing would be a meeting, either in person at a coffee shop or at the local hotel event. We had a process, a pre-qualifying, get that funnel going. Now, the goal was to get all those videos out as fast as possible so you could figure out who was interested. Out of 100 videos, you'd get 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 people interested. And then from that would come the people who would become customers, and from that would become the people who become consultants. That was our process. It wasn't complicated. But it started with something that was very duplicatable, something that could be distributed quickly. And so you might say to me, well, Mike, what video do you recommend today? Richard came up with something. I thought, wow, why didn't I think of that? That's actually pretty good. We used to do a version of it. Our version was we would do a little in-home online or on a conference call, record it, and then get that recording distributed. So let's say you joined today. I would do a little meeting for you. We'd record that meeting, and now you would have a cassette of that meeting that you can make hundreds of and send out to your prospects. But he suggested this, and this is today's time. What would be the equivalent in 2023? Well, the equivalent in 2023, if you think about social media as an example, what on social media attracts people? It's not videos produced by companies. It's not those flashy, look at us, we're super cool, we're this, we're that, we're Nikan. It's none of those. That's not what attracts people. What attracts people is, hi, Denise, it's Mike. I haven't seen you, talk to you for a while, but I've got something really important I want to share with you. It's up close and personal. It's me doing a video on YouTube gets way more traction than, that highly professional published whatever. What is getting attraction today is people being influencers by telling their story or telling a story. Barbara's an example. She does a lot of that on her social media channel. So what he had suggested, I thought, hey, this is amazing. This is great. To build your own video, build your own 1 minute miracle, he calls it. So then what you could then do is simply every single day, make a commitment to share 3 to 4 times a day your little 1 minute story, your little video. I could say, hey, Denise, this will take a minute. I want you to take a look at something and I want to talk to you about it. Now I could fire that off to 4 people. Maybe 1 in 4 people will actually watch it today. What if that happened? A little 1 minute video. So now the question is, what's that video going to be? Well, we'll get to that. What if I sent that video out and it's me? It's not somebody else. It's not a third-party thing. It's just me talking me telling my story, me creating a compelling 1 minute miracle story that is why I'm telling this person what I'm telling this person, why today I'm compelled to tell people about Nikan 31 years after I joined. What if that was my little story? And that I would like them, I'd invite them, if anything they heard in the video is interesting to them, I'd invite them to explore this with me and just give me a yes. So what if I sent that out to my contact list? Me, Mike DiMuccio, 31 years into Nikan, can create a little short video that says why I'm excited about Nikan today, 31 years later, why I was excited when I first looked at this, why I'm still excited, and why what I'm doing, what I'm sharing with them. So now, what happens then? I now have a simple way to get information out to create that initial tell me more. If I can get a 1 person a day tell me more, 1 person a day saying, tell me more, I'm going to be a very busy person. Now, if I have that video, I can't possibly not share it. It'd be like, not getting out of bed. But if I have that 1 minute video that I produced, maybe it took me a week or 2 to put it together to make it right. Like I did 50 takes. I know my son, I listened to my son do a take on my son does shorts. He's got over 4 million followers on YouTube, my son. And you look at his videos and you think, they're so simple. They're funny, they're simple, but you know what it takes to make that video? How many hours he actually does? To make how many takes he does to say a line because it doesn't sound the way he wants it to say, and it's just a simple line. I'll tell you something. If you take the time, you'll get the hits. You'll make it look simple. It'll be smooth. It'll be real. It'll be you. It'll be authentic. You'll be comfortable and confident to be able to send this thing out. All of a sudden, you'll be sending it out every day because it's you. Now you have a simple, duplicatable recipe that anybody can create their own little 60-second miracle story. Why are you looking at this? They tell their story. They're going to do it on the phone anyway. Tell them to do it on video. Then all they have to do is ask somebody to watch the 60-second video. And that's the first step in a process to get that person pre-qualified. Pre-qualified is, I want to know more. Tell me more. Sure, I'm open to listening. If you get a sure, I'm open to listen, now you've pre-qualified. You got somebody who's got a pulse. Now the next step would be the actual qualification process, which is, present the idea or get help presenting the idea. Invite them to an event. That might be the next step. Invite them to the next event if they haven't made a decision. Invite them to the next event if they haven't made a decision. At some point in time, they're going to make a decision one way or the other. The point is, you need to have a process. You need to lock it down. And this is a great way to start the process. I don't want to get too detailed right yet, Barb, if you're going to go into more details on this. Okay. Did you?
Carry on. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll come back to it. So the idea of this ladder of escalation would be that maybe that opener, that call, or that, hey, check this out. It's 1 minute. Take a look. Tell me what you think. Then an invitation to what? Is it an online presentation? Figure it out. Have your plan. What's your process? Make it duplicatable. Make it simple. Make it duplicatable. You're going to have an A on the phone with you or an A on the Zoom with you. Is there going to be a one-on-one meeting at a coffee shop? I know Leo likes to do those because I like to do those. And what do I like about those? Demos. We can do demos. By the way, getting back to my story 30 years ago, how I got people to watch the video, the long videos when we were handing out videos in person, is I'd do a demo. And then I wouldn't tell them everything. I would just use the demo to get them enough interested to say, now, you want to know more? Watch the video. The rest is on the video. You want to see what this turns into? Watch the video. So I would use the demo to get their interest up. So I would get them to watch the video. That was what the demo was for, to get them to watch the video. Why did I want them to watch the video? Because it would pre-qualify them as to whether or not they'd be interested in knowing more. If they were interested in knowing more, the next thing would be an invitation. And it's usually to an event. And we had enough of them that I didn't have to wait a week. They could come like that night or the next night. So an invitation to at least a presentation of some kind would be the next step. Maybe it's an in-home. One of the reasons why you need to have a calendar of events, so that you can actually invite people to that next event. Now, if you've got your video being handed out every single day, do you think you're going to need an event this week? We also have the Nikan events online. So that's an important thing. The happy hour with Nikan, is it called happy hour? What do we call it? Happy
life, balanced life.
Yeah,
balanced
that's the
life,
one.
Happy life.
Happy life, balanced life. Balanced life, happy life. Whatever. That, you know what I'm talking about. If you have prospects that you're engaging on a daily basis, you're going to need an event to invite them to. And so it's important, if you're not the one doing the event, that there's at least one you can plug them into. That's where those events start to really matter. They don't matter if you don't have a prospect, but they do matter if you have a prospect. So obviously the most important thing in all of this is learning how to get people in the pipeline. Now, from that in-home meeting or that online meeting or that hotel meeting, where do we go from there? Enroll them in what? In your system. You're getting started. Your getting started method, right? Which we now have a great getting started method for the Powerhouse. All right. Let's see what else we got. Well, I'm hopeful that we're going to have a product catalog in print again. They're discussing that, but in the meantime, we do have the digital version. So what would you be prepared to give somebody digitally? Have your repertoire. These are my top 10s. They got to have the catalog. They got to have the they got to have the and they have to have the huh. As whatever those are, have them. Have them in your toolbox, have them on your WhatsApp list, have them somewhere where you have quick access and you can send it out as a follow-up. I like to leave a tool after every contact, okay? So for me, it's a mandatory thing to have something for them after every contact, okay? So figure out what would be your follow-up tools to a one-on-one presentation, to an in-home or a hotel event. Your first tool, your second tool, like what's your repertoire of first tool, first exposure, second exposure, third exposure? Have your repertoire of tools, which is an escalation. Remember, at first I can't get them to look at much, but by the second or third presentation, by the second or third exposure, I can give them a whole lot more, right? Because they're going to be asking questions. So Have your system locked down. Don't toy with this, folks, because if you don't have a system, you don't have something to duplicate. A system is duplicatable, a person is not. Right. Pillar number 2, the rhythm of the business. We've already kind of gone over this, but it's the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual. Now, here's something really cool. I stole from here. The weekly meeting, he doesn't call it a presentation. He doesn't call it like, oh, come and learn about the, he calls it a training. We're having a training. What's really interesting about a training is it feels like it's content oriented and not sales oriented.
That's what they come.
Write that down.
Thank you so.
Okay, so having training, so your live event is an invite to training. Now, for instance, every happy hour, I call it happy hour, every balanced life happy, you know what I'm talking about. There's always a product category that they're explaining. There's a training on a particular category. So it's really good. It's really good to have that terminology. So start calling your weekly event a training event so that somebody feels like they're not coming to a sales pitch. They're coming to a content, to coming to learn something. Really, really good insight there. Your monthly event is going to be focused on recognition. Usually the monthlies, this is where people have achieved something and they should be recognized. And of course, recognition is another level of escalation because now a person's there and saying, what are these people being recognized for? What is that? What is that rank? What is that achievement? What is that? And that creates curiosity, and curiosity is what draws them further into the conversation. The quarterly is usually the big event. The annual is the corporate event. Okay. So now you've got your rhythm of the business, pillar 2. Pillar 3, culture. Culture. What we want is an active recruiting culture. 2023, write that down, is about active recruiting. Not passive, but active. Get candidates in front of presentations. It's got to be your prime directive. Let the presentations do their job. Just get people in front of them. Now, one of the key things to having an active recruiting business or an active business of any kind is to have a daily planner. Now, for me, my phone, if I don't have the appointment in my phone, it ain't happening. I swear, if this phone doesn't remind me of something, I don't remember anything. I've learned to become completely dependent on recording events into a calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. But if it's in the calendar, it's as good as gold. So have some kind of planner, daily planner. When I started I still have my original daily planner down in my basement. I actually have the original one that I walked around with. It's a briefcase size, and it was like the Time Covey, it was Time Covey, I was something Covey anyway, daily planner. I had a planner.
Stephen
Covey, but there was a planner. I had a daily planner, and I actually learned how to use a daily planner. That was one of the best investments my sponsor made in me, was teaching me how to use a daily planner. So that I can't tell you how important that is. Daily time management system, boy, oh boy, does that matter. Because otherwise, if you don't plan your events, your life is ruled by whatever gets your attention at the time. And there's no way for you to achieve goals, meet goals, and achieve goals if you don't have a daily planner to schedule your invites, to schedule your follow-ups, okay? To schedule your upline, to help in building and get your upline to help you in building a schedule. Okay, so and it moves people to an entrepreneurial mindset. It moves you to an entrepreneurial mindset when you start planning your day and working your plan. So again, it's a pillar. These are 4 pillars I'm giving you, and these are straight out of Randy Gage's, top of the list. So if you don't have a plan, chances are you're planning to fail. So how do I know I have a plan? I have some form of plan. It's written. It's a daily plan. It's a weekly plan. There's events scheduled and so forth. And I like to look at, I kind of have both. I have a little bit of a calendar because I like to look in advance. My phone is a little small screen. I don't like that. I like a bigger, so I have the calendar. I like to print the Niken calendar, by the way. Have you noticed? I mean, every year I've been publishing it. I print the Niken calendar in full size because I usually write things on that calendar. So that calendar becomes part of my plan and my planner. So I write on top of the Niken calendar. So I have the calendar events from Niken plus my little notes. So have something. Okay, that's a pillar 3. I'll go to pillar number 4 and then I'll come back to questions. Pillar number 4, you've got to get some social media integration going. You got to do something on social media. If you're not doing that, you're just shy about it. It's a decision. And stop being shy about it. So what could you possibly do on social media? I don't know. There's things you can learn how to do, but one thing you could do is you could start doing a daily post on Instagram, for instance. They call them reels. And what would it be? Well, let me tell you something. If you do that little video that I talked about at the beginning, that's Richard Brooke spent a lot of time talking about as a prospecting tool, you're going to learn how to shoot yourself, how to video yourself, turn your camera this way, that way, depending on what format you want. You're going to learn a little bit about cut, action, do something. Catch yourself on video and then post it. And then you're going to get comfortable with the idea of me actually being able to say something, record that something and post it. And then start doing that on a regular basis. Start talking about things that you love. Start talking about things you're interested in. Every now and then, sprinkle what you're doing with Niken, how Niken is applied. It could be tomorrow morning breakfast and you're throwing some of the shake in and you're saying, oh, this is what I'm having for breakfast. Breakfast of champions. Cut. That's it. That's your little video snip. You think that's nothing. That's everything. Right now, we know for a fact the lion's share of all advertisement that's happening is happening on Instagram. That's the #1 source of it. And what is it? What's getting people's attention? Instagram, TikTok, it's people talking. So if you think you got nothing to say, I doubt that. I'm sure you do a lot of talking every day on a social level. Start making that socially, to the whole audience. So yeah, and check out who's actually liking or commenting on the post. There's the first people you want to start conversations with, the ones who are actually responding to your posts. So now you got a way to actually engage people and greet people and have conversations with people. And next thing you know, one thing leads to the next thing, and you find out they got a knee problem or this problem or financial problem, whatever. You now have a way of actually communicating with people. We can get into more. That is not something I want to get into, but really the key here is for you to get involved in social media on some level. You'll get better at it as you go. And if you're not doing it, you're committing to failure. If you're not engaging social media, you're not committing to being a network marketing professional. You're kidding yourself. So if that scares you, it's time to get over your fear. Barbara, you have your hand up. Both Barbaras have their hand up. Barbara Richmond first.
The one thing that Richard said about the video, the 1-minute video that you do, a really good way to, as you put it, Mike, you're determining if a person is interested. At the end of your video, say it's okay to say yes, no, or maybe, because right off the bat, that takes the pressure off them. But if they want to know more, they genuinely want to know more because you've given them an out and you can go forward. On Instagram right now, the reels, you can't sell with a reel. You may get shut down, but you can do a story and sell your product on your story. A reel is a live video, and the average viewing time at the present time is 7 seconds. So if you haven't got the person's attention in the first 7 seconds, they're just going to go right past you on to the next one. So plan it out and have a real good hook in those first few words so that they'll watch the rest of your reel. And you can set a timer for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and you can do up to a 1-minute reel now.
There you go. Now you're listening to somebody who had no clue what a reel was 2 years ago. So just start. Be a network marketing professional. Professionals get paid good money. Hobbyists don't. One more point about that as well. Okay, now let's see the crafter story. 1 minute, 20%. Okay, I was saying what he talks about is the ask. If you were asking 4 to 5 people, even 3 to 4 people a day, the ask being, hey, I want you to take a look at this. It's 1 minute long. If you did that, the ask 4 times a day, how much time does that take? We're talking about composing a text message and sending it to somebody. Your text is probably already composed. Copy it, paste it from your notes, or copy it from the last one you sent, add their name, and boom. How long does it take you to text 4 pre-written messages? Okay. If you did that, it's less than 5 minutes a day. Less than 5 minutes a day to be doing the most important thing you could possibly be doing where your business is concerned for 5 minutes a day, to bring it up to a level of professionalism where you're not doing this as a hobby, you're doing this as a profession, 5 minutes a day. You tell me who in the world considers themselves a professional with 5 minutes a day of work. Okay, that's the power of what we're talking about. When this duplicates and multiplies, believe me, you're going to start to understand how important those 5 minutes were and how important it is to take the time to figure out how to make those 5 minutes start working for you right away. So, Barbara Bertucci.
Yeah, I have 2 things, Mike. I was just with my son and he said 15, 20 seconds max. And either TikTok or Instagram is a good platform to start with. But if you start out with a question, which is what Barb was saying, you know, why is salt so important in your life? Or what can make a difference this way? Or something that captures that reels you in to make you want to listen to the rest of it. That's one. But to really be fast and quick. And there's also a little way to put a little music behind you that kind of makes them want to stay on as well. It softens it or makes it, I don't know. So I was learning that. The other thing, when you were talking about the rhythm, the stages or the steps and the tools that you have, this one, that one, get with them, whether you're having a coffee shop or a demo or a video or a Zoom, you've got to create urgency. You've got to do it within a time frame and you make it up. I made it up all the time. And that's where the 21 Club was pretty powerful because we hurried people along and it's like, you didn't want to miss out. You wanted to be a part of it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I got to watch this video. I got to watch this video because we're going to be getting together next week or next, on Thursday night. So I need to hurry, I don't know. We created urgency and the urgency created excitement and the excitement created the momentum. And then it became a vicious cycle with that urgency. And now that we're back to doing it monthly, we're going to create the urgency all over again because we've got to do it before the end of the month. We've got to get so many people in the pipeline, in the thing to get people silver or to the management level, because that's going to get you to silver, right? Now it's back to monthly and powerful. And Mike, I share your story quite often, or I have recently, and that is the distinction between you and Botan, you doing 26 people wide or whatever the number I make up. I was like, I don't really know.
So 26 my first month.
26 is first month. Bo might have done 7, right? Or something like that. And the difference in income, well, you tell it because it's your story.
It's 3 to 1.
And- Huh?
3 to 1.
3 to 1, but the income is insurmountable. I mean, the difference of you being in the Millionaires Club quicker, faster, all of that.
Absolutely.
made a
If there's
big
anything worth doing, it's worth doing now, and it's worth doing quickly.
And then the other thing is, I make up contests. Now you don't have to give everybody the prize. What you do is I learned this from I'll say just another company, but it was Mary Kay, lipsticks and stuff. If they sold a lipstick, they got their name in the hat. If they did this, they got their name in the hat. They got somebody on the pipeline, they got their name in the hat. At the end of the month, you draw the name, somebody wins the water bottle, somebody wins the thing. Not everybody wins, something. So there's an incentive for getting 20 people, or the 21 club. Start the 21 club over. The first person in your group to get to 21, or have a friendly competition in the group. And that just starts, I had that all along with Igor and Linda and this other gal, Gail. They were always, who's going to get me to goal first? Who's going to get me this? And it was like this friendly competition. And the loser, or the one that didn't make it, bought everybody else the dinner or the coffee or the lunch. And it really became fun, and the gathering, and so you make up your own contest, you make up your own incentive, and it just brings fun into the group. And then the other part is, if you do start having in homes, have it snacky, fingery, picky up food, not complicated, but have your new consultant or your guest bring something, because when they gotta come. They're counting on you. You're counting on them to bring food, and to have it. And so they come. And because they're coming, they're sharing with people as they're cooking the food or prepping the food, and it keeps them present in their mind. So anyway, those were some tips that I had
Good
along the
stuff.
way, but the urgency is also key. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Let me sprinkle a little bit more here. The cost of procrastinating even 1 month. If you think of your highest income month, whatever that's been in Nikan, think of your highest income month. If you put it off by a month, that's how much it cost you. Putting off momentum, that's that high explosive focused activity. Think of your 2 highest years of income, your 2 highest years of income. So that's what momentum creates. So imagine putting that off. That's how much it costs you. Putting off momentum. It costs you your 2 highest years of income. So we can't put this stuff off. Sporadic activity is not professional. Your business requires professionalism. Professionalism is consistency. Consistency of activity that's duplicatable creates compounding. Compounding leads to exponential growth and momentum, and that creates lifestyle. So these are not magic things. They're not complicated things. They're things that everyone on this call can do. It's not that. It's who is going to do it. Who's going to do the things that get the job done? And that's the only distinction of who makes the big money and who doesn't. Like Bo and I started Nikan, the 24 hours difference between the day he started, the day I started, 24 hours. So technically speaking, we should have the same income, but we don't. Why? Because what I did relative to what he did with the time that we had is different. Barbara, you're muted.
My apologies. A couple of things for people that maybe haven't engaged in social media yet. Get a notebook, start doing posts, do them at different times of the day, do them on different days at different times, and track where you're getting the engagement, because you'll have people reach out to you, and that's an ideal opportunity for you to start, as Barb Satterwhite so eloquently put it in her relationshiping presentation, You're building relationships. You're starting a dialogue, and the dialogue, eventually they'll say, what do you do? And they'll ask more about your business. Sending the video out is a much better idea than actually phoning somebody, because phone conversations can get very involved and you don't want to be rude. And some people don't like the fact when you say to them, I'm in a hurry, I've got to get going, but I didn't want to miss calling you. And some people take that as being, you're sloughing
Inauthentic.
them off. Yeah. So the video avoids all that. And it
Again,
can
I
keep you
don't-
on schedule, and you can stay consistent and do it every day as your daily method of operations. So many videos a day go out, and your follow-up calls, phone calls, could be after you've sent the video out, maybe 48 hours after they've had a chance to look at the video.
Right. Now, in this case, Richard points out it's a 1-minute video. It's not a 15-second video, because you're telling your
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
So sell your unique story, because your story is unique. Your story is
he
unique.
critiqued my story. He gave us an opportunity to prepare our story, do it in front of the whole group.
Awesome.
And then he critiqued.
I will critique your story. Send me your story. I'll critique it. Okay. Be happy to do that. Sell your unique story. One other thing, the magic is in teaching people how this model works. If you don't teach people how the model works, the network marketing model, they're not going to understand the value. They're going to think that this is just another job or another sales thing. They're not going to really appreciate how the little adds up to a lot, how the penny becomes $5.2 million. This is a big part of the problem people have in creating a duplication. They don't know how to tell the income option. They don't know how to sell the income option. They don't explain. They don't even understand for themselves, for that matter, how important that income option is. Residual income is not just income. It creates wealth. It creates freedom. It creates generational income. That's how big that story is. So listen, there's people who've made and continue to make multiple millions of dollars a year selling lipstick. Lipstick is not a big story. Making millions of dollars a year with lipstick is a big story. What's more impressive? The lipstick, I don't care what this lipstick has in it. It's not going to impress me as much as how you're making millions of dollars a year with it. Do you understand, folks? What's more impressive to people? Not the product. It's what you can do with the product or the model. It's the income option. You've got to get good at learning how to tell the income story. So I honestly think if you don't know this book, if you haven't taken the time to read it before your career. Understand how he sells the income story with this book. And then you can draw in your parallels. You can talk about it in your 1-minute pitch, in your 1-minute story. Why are you telling people about this? Why are you sending a 1-minute video out? That's got to be part of your story. Why am I compelled to do this? Somebody explained to me the income option. I couldn't. Here, how's this? Let's say I sent you, Elise, what if I sent you a product and you love this product, and I say to you, or we talk on our first call, and you tell me you have this problem with your knee, and I said, hey, and we talk about the knee, and I said, I'm going to send you a wrap and a couple of power chips. Great. Hey, listen, when you discover for yourself how amazing the product is for your knee, I'll show you how you can get it for free. There, I just threw a seed. That was a seed. For what? The income option. When you discover for yourself how amazing the product is for your back, your knee, your sleep, your indigestion, your tired feet, I'll show you how you can get the product for free. And if you like that, I'll show you how you could add an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month to your income. That is sowing a seed for the income story, for the income option. But it started with the product, right? But I don't leave it at the product. When you discover for yourself how amazing the product is for your blank, I'll show you how you can get it for free. And if you like that, I'll show you can add an extra 1,000 or 2,000 a month to your income. If you like that. What am I doing there? I'm not taking away from the benefit of the product. I'm not taking away from that's the focal point. But if you like that, I'll show you how you can get it for free. Or maybe add a couple of $1,000 to your paycheck. And leave it at that. I just dropped a seed. Okay. That's starting to show people how to create the income story. Guys, if that seed isn't in there, when I do a mag step demo, when I do the demo with the insoles and they ask me how much it costs, how much the product costs, don't ask me about how much a product costs. I have no clue. I actually don't. I know approximately like how much an insoles are. Approximately, I could probably still be in 1985 numbers. I don't know. I seriously don't know how much the products cost. Generally speaking, around the ballpark. But if you said, what's within $1 or $2, not even close. I'm sure I couldn't figure out any one product within $1 or $2. How's that possible, Mike? You're one of the top income earners in the company, aren't you? Yeah, because the product I sell is the income option. The others are just incidental. They support. It's like the McDonald's hamburger and fries. Without that combination, you don't have McDonald's, the biggest real estate company. You got to have that to have the rest. You got to have the great products to have the rest of the story. You can even have mediocre products to have a great story. But we have great products. But that's not the story. The story for me is the income option. So I became very effective at the income option. So when I do a demo with the insoles and they ask me how much they cost, I said, I didn't come here to sell you a pair of insoles. But do I have your attention? Because if you like this, wait till you see what else I got. If you think this is interesting, wait till you hear the rest of the story. That's what I do. That's the language I use. Why? Because I'm not here to sell them a pair of insoles. I'm just doing the insole demo because I want their attention, because what I really want to talk to them about is the bigger story. But I can't get to the big story until I get at least them in 1 foot in. So that's my process. Paul Gabias.
I was just going to say, I won't be long. Whatever techniques we're talking about, we have to remember whether they're focused on a cold market or a warmer market. And what you're saying with the little videos is, yeah, with our new people, they have a warm market.
Yes.
So they can do that, but
Yes.
can't be mixing up the techniques with cold and warm markets. Is completely different.
True.
And what we want to do, whatever we do with cold market, is to make it warmer somehow. But they're not, the techniques are not the same.
Good point. So the video that I'm talking about, the 1 minute miracle story, yeah, who's going to relate to that is the people that you're meeting, or the people that you know and know you.
Yeah.
So you might have a separate video for somebody you don't really know. You might even start off the video, I know you don't know me. So you just write out, and what I'm going to share with you may not be for you. However, if you've ever thought about more month than, if you're one of the people who I know out there who have more month than they have money, you might want to pay attention for the next few seconds, and then you tell your story. So it's just tack on something on the front end to turn that I don't know who you are from Adam to, okay, so I don't know you and we don't, okay, and what? Yeah, that could apply to me. So it's just, see, I just made that up on the spot. I didn't have that pre-scripted. How is it that my mind works like that? Because I put myself in the shoes of the person that I'm going to give this video to. And I ask myself, they don't know me. What could I possibly say to this person that would get them to listen past the first 5 seconds? How about, I know you don't know me. On that, we can agree. So I have them in agreement. Already I have them in agreement. I know you don't know me. However, if you're like so many people I know, they got more month than they have money, this, you might find the next few, the next 20 seconds rather interesting. And then I can tell my story. See what I'm saying? Put yourself in the shoes of the person you're giving this to. And ask, and if you want to really beta test this, which I recommend you do, hand it out friends and family and say, listen, I need your feedback. What would you do different? What would you say different? Get some honest feedback. Guys, take it seriously. Make it your profession to get this video right. Barbara, last point, we'll wrap it up.
I have some names in my phone that I don't recognize at all. And I don't have an email address to send them, and I can't be sure that it's a cell phone. So I've been phoning them and saying, identifying myself and saying, I owe you an apology. And if they answer and say an apology, what for? And I'll just say to them, your name is in my phone. I don't recall how we met. You know, as I said, my name is Barbara Richmond. Do you recall us having had a conversation? Can you refresh my memory? And sometimes that opens up a whole conversation, which leads into lots more information. What are you doing? And so forth. That works when I don't have, for sure, a number to text a video to or an email to send the video to. Also, another approach I've used when I have a name in here that I don't recognize, but it says Niken Direct on it, and I can't recall the person at all. And I lost a list of some of my team when I moved, and I thought it was gone forever. But the name was in my phone. I used the same approach. I apologize. We haven't been in touch for so long. I lost my list of my team when I moved. I've just recently come across it and I wanted to reconnect. A lot of changes have occurred in Niken. Would you like to be kept updated on the new developments with Niken and the new technologies? That's opened up a whole plethora of new conversations that I'm having right now.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of which, customers who are already excited about our product. How about if you went to one of those customers who, let's say, purchased a waterfall? Hey, how do you like your waterfall? You like it? Great. You realize the cartridges need to be replaced every 3 months. Yeah. How would you like to find out how you can get them for free? You see what I mean? All of a sudden, I'm going away from just treat them like a customer that's just going to be a consumer to drop a seed, see if they respond to that. Would you like to know how you could possibly get them for free? Okay, that's a door opener. Now, why wouldn't you convert a customer to a consultant? You would, if you could, wouldn't you? Because a consultant leads to other customers. And that starts the ripple effect and the possibility of duplication for other consultants. Last comment, Denise. No comment? Okay. All right, guys, thanks for joining tonight. This weekend, Saturday, I'm in Montreal at Laval. Where am I, Leo? Where's the event?
Palace, Laval Center, Congress Center, and sold out, 80 tickets sold.
Well, I guess it's sold out. All right.
The week finish, I'm still again for try to have more people.
You know what? That's a great idea because I find that usually you sell out and you expect 70% fulfillment. So you always oversell. Good. So Congress Laval, just reach out to Leo. If he's got tickets available, you can get them from him. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. I'll post this as soon as we're done. Cheers.
Great comment.